Let me tell you about the day my marriage ended. It wasn't with screaming or crying. It started with a little plastic stick, the kind that changes your life forever. My name is David. I'm 32 years old. Until last month, I was happily married to Sarah, beautiful, smart Sarah. We met in college when I spilled coffee on her white dress. She yelled at me for 5 minutes, then asked me out to dinner. We've been trying for a baby for 2 years. Doctor visits, tests. So when Sarah came running into our bedroom, waving a positive pregnancy test, I should have been the happiest man alive. But something felt wrong. It was a Tuesday morning. Sarah jumped on the bed, her blonde hair messy from sleep. David, look, we're pregnant. Here's the problem. We hadn't had sex in over 4 months. Not since our big fight about money. Sarah had slept in the guest room ever since. I went back to our fertility doctor alone. Is there any way? I asked him. He looked at my test results, then shook his head. David, with your numbers? It would be like winning the lottery. That's when I checked Sarah's location history. All those nights, she said she was working late. The gym parking lot. A cheap motel off Highway 20. The same places every Thursday like clockwork. I followed her one afternoon. Watched her walk right past the yoga studio to the personal training area. That's where I saw him, Jake. 25 years old, muscles like a Marvel superhero. The way Sarah touched his arm. I sat in my car and cried for 20 minutes. Then I went to Best Buy and bought a tiny voice recorder. I hid it in Sarah's purse. The next night, when she said she was going to book club, I listened from my phone. Hearing her laugh with him, talk about their plans, about how I'd never suspect a thing. That's when I got smart. I started collecting evidence like I was building a court case. Because in a way I was. I took Sarah to our favorite Italian place for our anniversary. Ordered her favorite wine. When the dessert came, I slid an envelope across the table. What's this? She asked, smiling. Then she opened it. The color drained from her face. It was a paternity test. 0% chance the baby was mine. She started crying right there in the restaurant. It was just one time, but the dates didn't lie. That baby was coming too soon to be mine. Here's where it gets interesting. While Sarah was at her mom's crying, I went through her phone. Found texts to Jake about money. About how once the baby came, I'd have to pay child support for 18 years. Printed every message, every photo, even their stupid plan to take my money and move to Florida together. So now you know the truth. But here's what Sarah doesn't know yet. In our state, lying about paternity is a crime. And thanks to all that evidence, let's just say Sarah and Jake are in for a big surprise. Next time, I'll tell you about the court hearing, the look on the judge's face, and how 2 cheaters learned you shouldn't mess with a man who has nothing left to lose. Update. Last time, I told you how I discovered my wife's pregnancy was a lie. How she and her personal trainer boyfriend thought they could trick me into raising their baby. Well, today's the day I was supposed to sign the divorce papers. But life has a funny way of turning the tables when you least expect it. See, I thought I had all the evidence I needed. The paternity test, the text messages, even recordings of Sarah and Jake laughing about their little scam. But what I didn't know, I was missing one crucial piece of the puzzle. My attorney, Mr. King, a bulldog of a man who's been practicing family law longer than I've been alive, slid a thick folder across his desk. David, he said, you might want to sit down for this. Turns out Sarah wasn't just cheating on me. She was stealing from me. For months. Small amounts at first, 200 here, 200 here, 300 there, all going to the same Venmo account. At Jake the trainer. But that wasn't the shocking part. The real bomb? Sarah had taken out 3 credit cards in my name. Max them all out. Over $50,000 in debt I never knew about. All while telling me we needed to save more for our future. I confronted Jake alone one night after his shift. Big mistake. The guy might look pretty, but he fights dirty. Got one good punch in before his phone fell out his pocket. And guess what I found when I picked it up? Text to another woman. A woman named Melissa. Talking about their baby. Their baby. Turns out Jake had gotten his side piece pregnant at the same time as Sarah. The guy was playing the same scam twice. Melissa turned out to be a sweet 23-year-old nursing student who thought Jake was going to leave his crazy ex-girlfriend Sarah to be with her. When I showed her my evidence, she cried right there in the Starbucks. That's when we made a deal. Melissa would testify about Jake's lies if I helped her take him to court for child support. Seemed fair to me. Divorce court was everything you'd imagine. Sarah crying. Jake glaring. The judge looking like she wanted to be anywhere else. Then my lawyer dropped the bomb about the stolen money. That's not true, Sarah screamed. But the bank records didn't lie. And when the judge asked about the credit cards, Sarah completely broke down. Here's the twist none of us saw coming. Sarah wasn't just crying because she got caught. She was crying because Jake had been blackmailing her. Turns out Jake had videos. Private videos Sarah never knew he took. He'd been threatening to post them online unless she kept giving him money. My sweet, cheating wife had become a victim too. Asterisk. I should have felt happy, or at least satisfied. But watching Sarah sob in that courtroom, realizing she'd been used just like she used me, I just felt empty. After the hearing, Sarah grabbed my arm. David, please. For the first time, I saw a real regret in her eyes. Not fear of getting caught. Actual remorse. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Then I remembered all the lies. The stolen money. The way she looked me in the eye every night pretending everything was fine. The divorce was finalized last week. Sarah got nothing but debt and a baby she'll have to raise alone. Jake's facing felony fraud charges. And me? I moved to a new city. Started a new job. Funny thing is, I thought revenge would feel better than this. 6 months ago, I swore I'd never speak to Sarah again. The divorce was final. The betrayal complete. Then this arrived, a letter from my now ex-wife. I should have burned it. Should have tossed it straight in the trash. But after everything, I needed to know what could possibly be left to say. Turns out that fertility doctor was wrong. Dead wrong. Some rare condition meant my sperm count fluctuated wildly. That one night, after our big fight, when Sarah came to my room drunk and crying, that's when it happened. But here's where it gets crazy. Sarah didn't know either. She genuinely thought Jake was the father until the baby was born. Took one look at those Montgomery blue eyes and nearly passed out right in the delivery room. Melissa, Jake's other victim, was the one who called me. You need to see this, she said. So I walked into that hospital room expecting, I don't know what, but not this. One DNA test later, and boom. I'm a dad. To the baby I'd spent months thinking was my greatest betrayal. Sarah looked like hell. Postpartum bags under her eyes, hair a mess. I didn't know, she kept whispering. And here's the thing, I believed her. Turns out Jake had been playing us both. When Sarah confronted him about the blackmail, he admitted everything. How he'd tampered with my medical records. How he'd convinced Sarah the dates didn't add up unless the baby was his. That son of a bitch orchestrated our entire divorce. Jake's sentencing hearing was poetry. 5 years for fraud, plus restitution. But as satisfying as that was, it didn't fix my family. I missed his first 2 months. First smile. First bath. All because of some twisted game. Dr. Rosen made us do the work. Real work. Not just about the cheating, but about why our marriage failed in the first place. Turns out I wasn't blameless either. Asterisk. All those late nights at the office I called providing, Sarah called abandonment. Her spending problems? Cries for attention I was too busy to notice. The first time we took Liam to the park as a family, some old lady said what a beautiful couple we were. Sarah and I locked eyes and burst out laughing. Asterisk. Turns out going through hell together changes people. We're not the naive kids who got married at 25. We're battle-scarred, honest in ways that hurt. But when I watch her sing our son to sleep, yeah, we're trying again. Slowly. With prenups this time. Renewed our vows last week. Just family. Just real. Melissa was there. She's dating Sarah's brother now. Jake? He'll be in prison long enough to miss his own kids' first steps. Life's messy. Love's messy, eh? But sometimes, the greatest revenge is living well. And brother, are we living?